What the haters talking about?
What's up, family? 2 people were killed and 2 were injured in a 3-car collision Christmas afternoon in Northwest Houston. This all happened when 2 men driving Mustangs decided that they wanted to race on a crowded highway. One of the men, who was in his mid-40s, and I'm saying mid-40s for a reason, he crashed into a man driving an SUV, and those 2 drivers died. Y'all check out the video, leave your comments, and I'll come back with mine.
Highway 249 is open again nearly 6 hours after a violent street racing crash killed 2 people and injured 2 others. Investigators said 3 vehicles were involved in the deadly crash near 249 in Hollister. The Harris County Sheriff's Office said 2 drivers in Ford Mustangs were racing each other when one of the drivers crashed into an SUV and another vehicle. Deputies said the driver, a man in his mid-40s, was killed along with a middle-aged man in the SUV. 2 people in their 20s were hurt but are expected to survive.
Street racing is one of the dumbest things a person can do. I'm telling you from experience. I've done it. The sad part about it is the innocent people who are totally unsuspecting of the imminent danger that they're in. And they're just going about their business. They're doing the right thing. They're just driving. Maybe they're in the car, they're talking to family members. Maybe they're listening to the radio. Maybe they're thinking about what they're gonna do when they get home. And just like that, the life is over. I mean, just that, like that, in an instant, it's over. That's cold-blooded, man. When I bought my first expensive sports car, oh man, I had to run it. I just had to. But even before that, I remember I had a Lexus. When Lexus first came out, I was racing a buddy of mine who had stolen his father's car. I don't say stolen, but he basically took the car and, well, technically he did steal it, but his father was at the house and he took the car. It was one of those little small Cadillacs. He took the car and went to the washing area in the car. And then instead of him being at the washing area, he decides to meet us at the club, to go to the club with us. So he followed me to the club in the car. We decided to race. We're on a 2-way street and it's 2 lanes. He's in one lane, I'm in the other lane, and we just smashing it, just going. And I'm in a Lexus 400. I'm just smashing it. Man, that light turned red, and he smashed the brakes and slid all the way through the intersection and hit a telephone pole. The car crumbled, it flipped, and he actually crawled out of the car. I mean, by the grace of God, I was able to stop because instead of just smashing down on the brakes all the way, I pumped the brakes. I was whoop, whoop, and I came to a stop, but it still was very, very dangerous. That should have taught me my lesson, right? But it didn't. So I'm thinking this was like maybe after that happened, maybe about, let's see, that happened. So maybe about 2 years later, I'm riding in my Maserati. I got the top down. Anyway, I got to test it. I got to see what it do, right? So I smashed the gas. I'm on the highway. I got my boy in the seat, in the passenger seat. I got my homeboy X in the passenger seat. We rolling. I'm smashing the gas. And I'm looking at objects and I'm telling him, I say, watch me pass this in 5 seconds. I'm passing by 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and we going. I'm talking about going. And my boy doing this here the whole time. Bracing himself. Then when we stop, he tell me how frightened he was, but he couldn't say anything because he knew that I was going to smash the gas anyway. So he was just trying to play it cool. But when I look back, that was the last time, by the way, that I smashed the gas. But when I look back on it, and I think about how close I was to death, any type of little wrong maneuver, any type of little turn, going at that rate, I hit the 250. Any type of little move, anything, any type of little bump in the road, any little obstacle in the road, any type of little overcompensation, I'm dead. Just like that. I mean, we would have been out of there. For what? Pride. We say it all the time, and I say it all the time. Pride will get you caught up, man. Pride will get you shot in the guts. Egos can oftentimes override common sense. It's people that we're walking on right now because of pride, that pride thing. And being prideful, driving a car and smashing the gas, racing, that is a deadly combination. Even when I'm driving sometimes in my sports car today, sometimes sometimes a guy will come up on the side of me in a sports car and try to play chicken, try to look at me and and hit the gas and I look at him, I'm like, kid, like, that's over for me, man. Trying to use child psychology on a grown man, that's over. Like, that's way behind me. So I'm just speaking on this, man, because this touched my heart when I heard about what happened, because I know from experience that could have been me, and I still see people out there playing those games to this day. And they don't even understand the ramifications of those type of actions. It's so many people that's dead for playing them same games right now. We're walking on a whole lot of people who play those same games. But that's how it happens, man. Innocent, unsuspecting people are always the ones to suffer. I'm surprised that the guy who was actually racing actually died, because a lot of times they end up just killing somebody who had no involvement in it whatsoever. It's one thing to be out there racing on any given day, right? Street racing on any given day. But during Christmas, during the holiday season, you got to be very, very careful, because people just don't pay attention to what they're doing when there's so many things going on. There's so many people on the road. People just are distracted, and there's so many people that are drinking and driving. You have to be very diligent when you're out there on the road, because, as I said, people street race on any given day anyway. And another thing, they got racetracks all over the country that have a dedicated track day where people in regular vehicles can come out there and run it. If you're gonna do it, if you just need that adrenaline rush, be safe, be smart about it. I see people in Houston all the time running, just smashing the gas, playing chicken on the open highway, cars all over the place. I see them doing this all the time, just. I don't know what it is about Houston Texas in general, where people just like to race cars on the open highway. Not even the open highway, just down regular streets. Crazy. Texas, too small to be a country, too big to be an insane asylum. No more talk.
What the haters talking about?